just gonna say it was the best feeling knowing I tortured you so thoroughly this month.
Honestly, like, I come in good faith every month.
Do you? Do you though? I don't think you do. I don't think that's true.
No, that's actually the really sad part, is that I'm like genuinely trying and I fail. Like, it's
We
even
appreciate your
sadder than you
attempts.
think.
We do.
At least you're trying.
Yeah, it's even
But
sadder
are
than
you?
think.
There was no
you?
reason for the book you picked last time to suck.
It couldn't have been that bad. Yeah.
I don't think that was your fault at all. I think
No.
you got effed. You
No.
got effed.
Yeah.
Horror
We
Nights
all
though.
got
Yeah, we
conned
all
by
did.
some people on that book. All right, go read the Goodreads reviews. We all got conned.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
And that seems to happen every night. Like, that's the thing. I'm not trolling you guys.
No, you
I'm
did your due
genuinely
diligence.
trying.
It just did not work out.
And that's the saddest part.
You've had a good one, I feel like.
Did I? See, I don't even remember Horror Store. So
That
Horror Store was
one
good.
not for me.
Horror Store was
Cute.
I liked it. It was cool. It was different.
Thank
You
you.
did Lagoon.
Oh yeah,
Lagoon
Lagoon
was
was
great.
great.
Lagoon was good.
Did.
You can't go wrong
Yeah,
with Media
see?
Horror though.
No, you really
Yeah, I know. Like, that
No.
was a softball, but
No, I mean that was
I
a
mean,
great book.
still,
yeah, but like, see.
but that got me into Nanetti Okra. What's the last
the
name?
author.
It's a Corafor.
Okorofor. I know, and so if I don't think about it, I can say it usually, and then I'll start to think about it, and I can't.
Yeah, don't let your
And
brain
I'm like,
get
I
in your
don't
mouth.
want to do this.
Hey, little live sticker, how are you?
Yeah,
I know.
we've been
Oh, yeah,
live
we're
for quite
live.
some time.
We've been live for a little here. I was just letting us ramble. So I need to tweet the links.
Hey!
Hey!
Heyo.
So here we are.
Professional.
We read Unveiled by Courtney Milan. While I furiously type.
Why don't you get us talking about what we thought about it briefly? So, that way you
So
can send
real quick, we're gonna run right into what y'all thought. So Amelia, your thoughts?
I liked it. I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it very much. That was short, but there you go.
That's what this is
Gotta give it
supposed
more
to
time to
be. It's
type.
supposed
Yeah.
to be short.
It's
was
not
fun.
supposed to be,
Yeah.
Oh no, I clicked on
Yeah.
myself, and now
No.
it's not changing screens.
Uh,
Ness, you can go ahead.
Sweet. I think it was good, but not great. I wanted it to be funnier, but that was just because I just read her Hamilton's Battalion book, and it was hilarious.
So that definitely
Pretty
tempered
funny.
your like expectations.
Not
Which is
every
not
book
funny at all.
can be amazing Hamilton content.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sadly.
Okay, how do I reset Google Hangouts to like change the camera?
You don't.
Oh no, did I? No, I did. I think I did it. Somebody else.
Mine
Liz,
is
what were your
still
thoughts?
changing.
sorry, what? I had like 2 conversation streams hit each other at the same time.
What were your thoughts on the book?
Oh, okay. Well, I took 6 pages of notes on this because I am a Martian robot with no emotions, and I don't know how romance novels work. And most of my questions to the club this month were, wait, is this normal? I had a miserable experience. I hate this book.
I feel like we've got to rec you a book we think you would like in the
I
genre
might
just
hate this book.
to help.
I don't know if, like, I don't know. I think you might just be trying to instruct a pigeon on algebra in this case. Like,
There is a romance book for everyone.
There is.
What if
100%.
what if you read, I'm accepting this challenge. What about the Nora Roberts books that aren't super romance but are murder mysteries?
JD Robb?
Yeah, the JD Robb books.
What is, oh my, you probably would like those.
Right? Don't you think? There's a little romance
Mhm.
and there's a little death. And I think that Liz might
A
like
lot
that.
of death. And it's
is that a romance
futuristic.
novel?
And it's set in the tiny future, so there's a little tiny sci-fi element too, which is kind of weird and awesome.
Well, I do appreciate that you associate all my book preferences with death.
I do.
Is it really a romance novel at that point?
Yes, there
yeah.
is definitely romance elements. It's not a traditional romance novel, but there are romance elements.
'Cause,
That's
like,
why
I
it's
can
under her
read-
pseudonym.
There are many subgenres of romance.
Because I can read a book where people kiss and it's like nice, and that can be like a nice part of the plot. But when I like, as the outsider, when I think romance novel, I think this where like the romance is the plot.
Right. And
But
Nora
it isn't
Rob-
the plot
Jane
at the
Robb
same
books
time.
aren't quite
Right.
as heavy on the romance, but they're pretty romancy.
Hmm.
I feel like.
I agree, Jade. I read like the first one of those. I liked them. They're good.
I read 2 or 3. They were cute.
I kept meaning to go back and never did. As
There are
always.
a lot of books. There are a lot of books to
Yeah,
get to.
books.
All right, well,
Izzy, what
I'll
are
write down Katie Robb, but like, yeah, I kept an eye roll per chapter thing. I averaged 7 eye rolls per chapter. And I basically, like, it was like I didn't know how this works. I was
Yeah. Yeah, you're broken.
Like, I don't,
Like, I don't mean that to mean, like, I can say that to you, we're friends,
like,
but you broken.
I was like, I know, do we need to send, like, Olivia Benson back in time and help this chick? Because there is another version of this story. If you give me 15 minutes with this thing, I can turn it into the harrowing tale of one woman's desperate attempts to escape the clutches of a charismatic sociopath. And I wouldn't have to change that much. Like, that's what I'm reading in here. I'm like,
Are you?
You would,
So
actually, because that's not what the genre's about.
So here's
know.
the thing.
I
I really enjoyed it. Like Amelia, I don't know my rating yet. We're gonna get to it as we discuss, I think, overall. But I want to say this point. I think you're approaching romance wrong.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Oh, okay.
This is a popcorn book. It's like a popcorn movie. You just want to sit down and read something light and easygoing, and you don't have to overanalyze it.
In fact, you're not supposed
Are you
to.
saying
And
that
you're
I did
not
this wrong by
supposed to,
taking 6
right?
pages of notes?
Yes.
Exactly. And you're supposed to just sit down and enjoy the book for what it is and like watch 2 people fall in love and solve some problem and then move on. Like you literally sit down, you read it, you're done. Like they aren't, I mean, there are ones that are serious, but like ones like these, like the Regency, where like you follow the group of friends or the brothers or the sisters, are literally developed in a way of like, here, read this one book and then move on.
I to say for myself, for the purposes of like I'm being deadly serious, I didn't start out with like the whole note taking. Like I'm just gonna like kind of take a piss out of this. Like I genuinely came in. I'm telling you, I come into every book club book in good faith. I very quickly started being like, ooh, what? Why is the alpha male acting like this? Ooh, that's not okay. Ah, why? Is this supposed to be sexy? I don't get it.
Well, see,
Like-
maybe that's something else you're missing too. Is a lot of people do find that sexy. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I would say most.
Yeah.
It was the context, like, and it was very context based. It's just like, okay, guys getting away, like, the power imbalance that the book starts with made me really uncomfortable for how that was playing out.
I mean,
was
it's set in Victorian England or whatever. What is it? When is the time period, guys?
The Regency, the
Regency. So it's not quite Victorian, right? Like,
No,
I don't know.
it's pre-Victorian.
I don't do history. So
I'm really, but it's like it's not Victorian because that's its own genre.
Right.
Romance.
King George had been the king, right?
Mad King George.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you. That helps me put it in a time frame.
Post George III, I think.
So way different time for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't judge it by today's standards.
You can't. You can't. And even though it is written like it's clearly modernized, like this book is not necessarily historically accurate per se, but that's not the point either. It's not supposed to be a delve into the history. It's supposed to be fun and light, but from that perspective of the situation she was in that time. So
this book is Pacific Rim. You're not. This book is Jupiter Ascending, right? Like you're not supposed to really think
the Regency period was between.
Okay, but then the costumes were not as good as Jupiter Ascending.
No, nothing's costumes can be as good.
I know.
No, okay, so let me. It's like the first chapter. Like the first chapter, I was off the boat because basically he rolled in, like sees this one girl, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck that one.
Yeah, people really think that's hot. People really like that. That's really sexy. Yeah. See, I think that may be the missing link here. Is that that's just not hot for you.
Yeah.
Which is totally valid.
Honestly,
that's
this
totally
book is my personal Sahara Desert. Like,
yeah. But a lot of people think that's super hot to be like, that dude wants me. Yeah. Like, that's a hot thing.
Like, okay. That's the thing. So that's why when we're kind of approaching this, it's not that I just need to learn more. It's that this is fundamentally incompatible with my brain.
Yeah.
So
probably. You just have to like.
But that means that there are probably romance novels that would appeal to you.
Yeah.
Yes, there are. There totally are.
Because
Like-
they're not all, a lot of them are, but not every single one is in this
No,
vein
it's a huge genre. Like,
yeah.
They're not all
YA,
Regency.
right?
No, like, but the thing is, there's like I've read some books where guys were like pulling the alpha thing. They didn't also pull like genuine pickup artist roll up on a girl on horseback shit too. Like, I
have no problem with any of it.
like. Oh no,
I'm
that's
like,
fine.
yeah.
No, everybody have fun. That's the thing. But it's like, so, all right. Whenever I'm reading anything or doing anything, pretty much, I wonder, like, all right, am I crazy here? Like, am I like, is there just something that I'm not getting? And yeah, this is one where I'm just not.
Yeah, I think in this
getting
case it just didn't ping your happy places.
The thing, no, it actively repulsed me in a lot of ways.
I did not have that
Ash as
experience.
a Regency romance heroine is pretty consent friendly.
So which one? I could be.
Ash as a Regency romance hero is pretty consent friendly.
Like-
Yeah, that's why I put it on there because I was surprised.
Like he's pretty good with consent. He never takes anything from her.
Okay. And is that's I'm guessing that's not a standard thing in
Nope.
romance.
What?
In romance in general,
Hmm.
the consent like that as spelled out as is. Well, let's dive right into questions and we'll
Yeah.
get to our consent discussion.
No, honestly, like if I'm too frustrated, like talking to me is gonna be like talking to a brick wall. So just don't worry about it.
All right. So the book really centers around family, I feel like, on both sides for Margaret and Ash. And the amount they were willing to go through for their family. Did you guys find that realistic or not? Like not your kids, but like your siblings' family and or parents' family that you would like, go pretend to be a maid and take care of your sickly father and all this stuff. Like, would you do that or not?
No, I wouldn't.
Like,
I mean, if you're
feel
talking about my
realistic?
actual family, that's a whole nother question.
Well,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. I just
I
had
wouldn't.
moments with it where I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess for Regency, it felt realistic.
Yeah,
But,
that's
but
what.
I know people for whose family life is good and that would do these kind of things for their family, right? That just doesn't ping true for me.
Well,
Guys,
and from
My
I have to beg out of this question too because I'm an only child. So this is another one where I'm like, fucking fine now.
okay, cousins. Your parents.
Cousins.
you
from
siblings.
her point of view, if she didn't, so if you think about it from the beginning, she really didn't have much of a choice. Like, you either get your status back or you're effed. And so from that point of view, I could see myself doing it, like, even if I didn't want to, because, like, I don't want to be poor on the street.
Mhm.
So I'd probably do it for my own
Yeah.
self-interest, if nothing else. I don't know if I would be as loyal as she was to her brothers in the end, which
She's the most Hufflepuff
she really is.
that ever
To me,
Hufflepuff.
I don't know. For me, she kind of read like, right? Like, she keeps doing stuff for them, even though they continue to treat her badly. And even though she's like, well, Richard isn't too bad. That one time when I fainted into a fountain and was drowning, he pulled me out. So he
Didn't let me die. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. Like, I think that's for me with this, like with her, that is what rang true. I was like, she is like an abuse victim. And then by the end, which is jumping way ahead in the storyline, all the shit that goes down about them betraying her, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were loyal for no reason because they were not loyal back.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really feel like it was a stupid choice on her part, just maybe a naive one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But I mean,
like,
yeah. But
or like you
also
said,
choice
like
that-
a victimized one. Like, she didn't have very many choices
Mm-hmm.
no,
available.
certainly not as a woman in Regency England.
Right. Like, you got to do what you got to do, man. You know?
And then Ash, like his family loyalty, like drive, I thought
That's
was interesting because it felt like survivor's guilt almost in a weird way. I guess that would be the word. I'm not sure if I'm using the right word.
I mean, he's also clearly an abuse victim.
That too.
Yeah. Yeah, all the
Well,
kids.
clearly,
Yeah.
everyone.
Well,
was.
and it's such a common thing with the oldest being the one who's the protector. Like, I
Yeah.
have to save you from this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it all rang very true to me.
Yeah.
I didn't feel, and none of it felt out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just it threw me because like how loyal to the extent she was, but I also know that in that world, it makes sense. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. About like the 10th time my dad told me I was worthless, I might take a break. Like,
yeah, that was, and like they kept treating her like crap, and she kept just sitting. Like, I don't know. I would have just dosed him and put him to sleep.
You're having more laudanum.
Right
Did
there.
you guys have the enhanced edition? Did you guys read the extras?
I didn't read the extras.
I didn't know how it worked. I'm so old. I'm like,
I had to use it in my. I had to read it on the app in my phone. So Courtney Milan explained the dad's illness a little bit.
Oh,
more, saying he had a stroke and dementia, and so he was undergoing personality issues.
Right, which is not uncommon for people to be combative or for sure.
That makes sense.
Which
that makes
so hard for the caretaker. It's so hard for the caretaker in that situation because like you are sort of enduring abuse, but you know it's not like the person. You know.
Well, and except she didn't, right? Like they didn't know that strokes were a thing back then, and that like, personality changes as a result of that were a thing. So she just had to endure it.
Yeah, just had to be called useless and worthless and deal with it. Yeah.
Okay, the biggest reveal in this book I thought was when we discover that our hero Ash can't read and/or is dyslexic.
So that is another enhanced edition thing.
Okay.
She says that he is dyslexic.
Oh, that's what I thought.
I thought she described it very well.
Yeah,
I don't want to make that assumption.
So she straight up says in the extras that he is dyslexic, and that she originally actually wrote the book with that not being the case. She got to the scene where he reveals it to Margaret, and wrote the sentence down that he couldn't read, and then was like, "What? No, I can't do that." Deleted it, but then kept thinking about it and went back and like read through what she had so far and was like, "I've written this book with him dyslexic, like not even on purpose." She's like, "I only had to change one thing." To do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I loved when he revealed this to her. And she was like so torn in her letter, like to her brother.
I love that. She was like, "What do I write?"
Like, she made the right choice, obviously, when she doesn't tell him. But I was just like, oh my god, they're so in love and it's so cute and sappy.
But she's not blindly loyal to her family, right? Like she made good choices not to be cruel to Ash. She's just trying to figure out like how do I be loyal to
I was
my family.
surprised the first time when she didn't give up some of the smaller secrets. I was surprised because I thought maybe still she would be more loyal to her family at that point. But even before that reveal, she was like, "I'm not going to say anything.
I'm going to do it honestly."
Like, girl, you got it bad. Yeah, that was my feeling. Like, ooh, she likes him.
Do you think it was at all realistic or not for him to be dyslexic and have gotten as far as he'd gotten?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Eris, you're like, I see it.
There's a difference between dyslexia and abject foolishness. Like, okay, so you can't go over every single segment of your contract. That's fine. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer who does that. Don't fucking wing it. Like this. It was stupid
That offended you
how
professionally.
hard this took me out. Like, my suspension of disbelief was destroyed by this. I was like, no, that's not how investments have ever worked. No. Like, I thought it was an interesting take on the character, and I thought it was an interesting thing to add, especially since they would never have been able to diagnose it as something like dyslexia. It would have just been like, oh, no, you're just defective and can't read. And the fact that he worked around that, I thought was like a good character trait. But like then he was just like, nope, I do everything on instinct. Okay, that's a little much.
But he didn't quite, because he relied on his staff to help him.
And instinct helped him pick his staff and stuff like that.
Right,
So
but
it was like a big recurring
does.
theme for him, that his instinct. Sorry, what?
Right, but that's what anybody does when they're hiring people. At the end of the day, you go on who you think is going to be the best.
I don't know, there's just something that like freaks me out about absolutely no written record of stuff. Like, no, don't write stuff down, just report it. And remember, I took 6 pages of notes on this, so not having.
But he wasn't saying for them not to write it down. He was saying for them not to hand in a report.
He
wanted an oral report.
Yeah, but not. There's nothing in that book that said he has no records of anything. Oh god.
I saw him yell at. No, not yell at it. But be like, no, I don't want the reports. I don't want the reports.
Right. He doesn't want the report. That doesn't mean records don't exist.
Well, that's like, I have...
This is the least of my problems with the book. The very, very least of them. And I understand that it was part of a recurring character trait, and basically saying, like, look, he goes with his gut. He uses instinct, and, just based on his background, he's really primed to do it this way. I think at some point, like, yeah, I joined the bajillionaires club with very little, like, except my own gut to go by. Like, because he seemed to be, like, Christian Grey, wealthy by Regency standards, so it's just like, okay.
New money, though. New money. It was as believable that he could do it dyslexic that he could do it at all for where he came from to me. But yeah, I went to India and made my fortune. I'm not really going to say how. It's cool. It's cool. So that's fine. I was in. I believe
I was in. I know. I was too.
Yeah.
Also, I don't personally...
Just so that he would have the money. That's it. That was the plot point. That was the plot reason, that he was rich.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I don't have dyslexia, but I know people who do, and it's been explained similarly. The way he described about words, like kind of moving around and slipping, was pretty familiar from what I've heard. So that's, take that with a grain of salt. But it didn't ring untrue from what I've heard from people I know who have dyslexia. I imagine the experience is unique to each person, but
yeah. Thank goodness for Comic Sans and open dyslexic font.
Yeah, it's really helping.
Yeah, the font is really interesting.
All right, we shall. Ness, do you have anything? You good?
I didn't think it was any less believable than anything else, and I like that as a person with that kind of learning disability, that he was still desirable, right? Like that.
Yeah.
He was. He was.
That's
really important.
It made it. Yeah, it made him. He was It didn't change his desirability, and it gave them something sweet together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not that a disability is sweet or anything, but it gave them something to work on and take care of together, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
A way for her to help him.
The scene where she reads him the chastity book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay. Next we have Ash and Consent. Did it ring true and or romantic? Amelia.
That was my question. I just thought it was the author, to me, spent a lot of time being very careful and clear about Ash's character trait, that he is not going to take advantage of what was originally a servant or a worker in the household, and then later on became
a nurse,
someone else. But he, even at the point where they were definitely going to bang, he still waited because he didn't feel like she was in enough, which I was like, I wish every dude would read this, or at least have some concept of this, because what a cool thing. In my mind, he could have just at that point, like, taken a break and didn't have to, like, stop it altogether, but whatever. It was nice that, for me, it was very, almost too polite. was my feeling on it, which I know is like the opposite of Eris's feeling, so it's interesting. But I found him like overly holding back when she was clearly consenting.
I almost I kept having moments of like, is this supposed to be a like Regency BDSM book?
Right.
Like, not in a bad way, but like the amount of consent that was given is very similar to what you will experience in those sort of books.
Yes.
Outside of them in the romance genre, you definitely don't see that a lot, often enough.
Agreed.
I'm going to continue to pimp the enhanced edition because she addresses this exact question.
Does she really?
Yeah.
It worked in my Kindle, but it kept throwing me back to the wrong spot, so I couldn't use it.
I couldn't.
I was an old.
So it's just at the end of the book.
Okay.
If you went to the end of the book, let's just go to the enhanced stuff. But she talks about how she originally hadn't planned on putting this much consent in it, and then she saw somebody complaining on Twitter stuff where like they want all the time, and the trope that men are expected to wear down women's resistance in romance novels.
She definitely subverted that trope. I did not feel that he was wearing down anyone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I felt very much like he was like, I'm just gonna wait.
So
and I can wait
how
forever.
amazing that she like reads things and takes feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And opts to grow like as an author versus just writing the same thing, because like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not
so
that all authors don't do that. I just feel like they don't acknowledge it.
Yeah. And that's
I also
probably... Go
ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, what was I gonna say now? Go, you go.
Okay. So that's the scene where Ash calls Margaret a canvas, right? And so like talks about like why do men want pale women?
Mm-hmm.
Was also in response to that, how every Regency novel hero seems to talk about how he loves the pale skin of the heroine and whatnot. But so like the consent issue and the paleness issue apparently are intertwined for her.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting as well. Like they addressed the whole idea of like not being pure anymore for not being a virgin. And then him not caring. Like again, just like she didn't care that he can't read. He did not care that she wasn't a virgin. Like it didn't matter.
And he didn't care about anything.
No,
he was like, I don't give a fuck.
Like I love that though. Like it's such a good thing. Like in so many books and all around us, honestly, I feel like that is constantly a thing, right? Of like people caring if you're this, if you're that, you know, skin tone, sex, sexuality, just everything, anything, disability. Like everybody gives a fuck, and it's like thinks it's their business, and it's not, and like thinks it makes you more or less attractive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, attractiveness is also subjective, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you get that like ideal thrown at you all the time, and this book's like, yeah, fuck that. Like here's other ideals.
So then the question for me is, did it strike you guys as still romantic despite being so overtly consensual? Because I've read the counter argument that it's not hot if we must stop and have consent or whatever. So did it ring as romantic? Because I did for me.
You know,
and I'm not an alpha male lover. Yeah. Seriously, like I found that very refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I said, I just kept thinking it was a Tom secretly.
Well, you know, book 2, he may be.
Book 2 is about Mark, so I might have to read it.
My God, I have to read it. Just that one in particular. That's a delight.
There's only 3, so it's not like...
No, there's 5. There's going to be 5.
Is there 5?
Sure, why not?
Should we go back to Robert and Edmund? Because I don't want to fucking read about them.
The third one's going to be the housekeeper. No, I'm just kidding.
About Robert, he's supposed to apparently be very sympathetic and a good brother, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Courtney, Milan, but I have to respectfully disagree with you.
Yeah. And there had better not be an Edmund one. F that guy.
Oh, that guy.
Well, he like doesn't even show up. He just gets talked about.
No, he shows up in a couple seasons.
Does he? Oh yeah, he does briefly. You're right. I forgot.
Can I ask a question that's not in here?
Yeah.
That just occurred to me. Mm-hmm. What actually happened between Edmund and Mark? Who was beating the shit out of who? Or was it just like equal? Because I got a little convoluted.
I don't think we know.
They don't ever say.
Okay. So maybe in Mark's book that'll be more talked about. Okay, good. Because I was like, did I miss something? Who is the bad guy?
I don't think there's any reason why they can't both be true. That 5 guys jumped Mark, and then he beat the crap out of Edmund.
Look, that was my hope. That's actually what.
Like everybody got
the case.
Shit beaten out of them. So
yeah. Well deserved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for Mark.
That was all. I was just like, did anybody catch that and I missed it? Yeah.
On that point, Eris, you asked, does it matter? Because he still got everything he wanted.
Yeah.
And I will say yes,
of course
because he still asked.
Well, it was more like, okay, it was about the defiance thing. Like, I'd like you to be defiant. What? Defiance is like a general thing? Defiant of what? What is she supposed to defy?
The Regency concept of what a woman should be.
Yeah.
Norms and standards.
Okay. So defy all the stuff that would keep you from sleeping with me. I don't
Defy all the expectations of your place in the society. Think of it as rebel against the standards of society today, but
classism, basically, right? He was like, class doesn't matter. Get over it. Like it's a fake thing, which he was just lovely.
Right, because he's been both low class and high class, right? So
he's like class doesn't matter.
Yeah, it means nothing.
Yeah,
I got so far off on the wrong foot with this book that like it's like I'm glad to hear kind of where you guys are coming from with it. I don't see it. Like he creeped the shit out of me. I'm gonna be real honest.
I can see how it could be read that way. He was for being awesome about consent, he was still very pushy. Which I actually like that conflict between like he was very sure of himself and certain to almost the point of pushiness, but did not actually push. And I thought that was a really cool, for me, that was really cool to see again, because like I said, I've read a lot in the past about like, oh, consent's not hot. And I'm like, no, look he can still be like kind of a toppy alpha, but still get consent and be awesome. Like I liked both personally.
Mm-hmm. All right. Possibly one of my favorite parts of this book. Mark's chastity book.
Oh my god.
I just love that it exists.
And the chastity book for ladies.
Yes. Courtney,
it's easier for
where's
ladies.
my novellas?
Yes, that
right? Like, I have to know what it says. I have to know what is in the chastity book.
I love that the chastity book for ladies is basically how to beat up a dude who's trying to put his hand down your pants.
Yeah.
I did like it when she beat him up. That was good.
That was amazing.
It was
she
hilarious.
Elbowed it in the face. Loved it.
And
Loved
Mark's
it.
just like
Entertainingly
in the corner. Like,
To me,
I might have lied.
It was very miscongeniality.
Yes.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yes. Good times.
I could have done without.
I like that he didn't get mad either. Like he was not mad that she could.
That's just how he, like, that was his character though. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been in his
character
character
would be
to get mad.
Yeah.
Really, because it's like he kind of never gets mad almost. Like, I mean, yeah, he goes and beats up what's his face who like took advantage of her, but he's still never like
I love that scene, you guys.
gets mad in that way. But so what do you think's in the chastity book for dudes?
I have to know. Like I can't.
I really
Like whatever it is,
keep it
it's
in your
hilariously
fucking
funny.
pants.
Like
Women do it. Why can't you?
I don't know, like a
One
rubber
thing is,
band
like-
around your wrist. Like what?
it kind of would have been cool if the older brother hadn't like constantly, or not constantly, but like he kind of picked on Mark for not wanting to, get laid. Like that happened a few times.
Oh
Like,
man, there's a deleted scene where Mark totally calls him on it.
Okay.
Nice.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be in book 2.
I mean, it was close to the end, so she's like, I didn't include it because it was a weird break in Ash going after Margaret.
Oh,
Right.
I found it. All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
read
like-
this after. I'm very excited.
It's a delight. Mark's basically like, I choose not to have sex. I choose to be chaste. I'm not celibate.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with me for that.
Yeah.
I can just
Yeah.
control myself.
Amazing.
Ash. Dang.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't wait to I've got it pulled up on my phone. I can't wait to read it. I went straight to
It's
the
in his
stuff.
values. That's what he believes in.
Right.
Yeah.
But also
So he's gonna
very
tone down in book 2. He's
Very
no
excited.
longer going to be chased.
very-
Oh my
I
god,
have
what
to-
if that
I have
book
to
is
read
all
it.
a girl chasing him and him being like, no, no, no.
As long as he's okay in the end and consensual, I'm in.
No, I am too, but I was just had that thought. I hope it's a reverse trope of the
Yeah.
dude being persistent.
She's gonna be like, look at my ankle.
I love those hot ankles.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So much
Oh my-
ankle reference in this book.
I will say, I was
Somebody
not ready
can't
for
cast
how. I was not ready for how everybody seemed to get like half-mast at like anything. Just,
Oh
like,
yeah.
I just, like.
Eris, chastity is hard.
Welcome to
Oh no, my
romance.
big one was when he had the cup, like the mug. He was getting like. There was
You mean
another-
when she threw the dirt at him?
No, there was when she gave back the mug, and he had
Oh,
like this
yeah.
other guy in the room for business, and he goes off on like this 2-page thing of just like, oh yeah, she gave me crockery, like
And a note.
fucking
Aaron.
weird.
And a note.
Like it was just
sexy note.
just so odd. I was just not prepared for how hair trigger everyone in the book seemed to be.
They're all very repressed, okay? It's like
Yes.
It's a hard.
It's 1811 or
you can't see anyone's
it's
ankles.
1811 and 1820.
There's no porn on you porn to look at when you need something.
Yeah, like they don't have porn.
This is how it is.
They might have some erotica to read. That's about it.
Victorians definitely had porn. They must have had porn back then. Must have been hard to find.
But I mean, like, it's like one picture hidden in the back of like your
bookshelf.
Yeah, it's not like
a tangent, but like,
it's an illuminated manuscript made by monks. Like, come on.
There's like a dog in it for no good reason.
Yep, always, always.
Yeah.
Yes, on silver etching, I've seen a breast.
And there you go. That's why crockery is hot.
Look, that's why chastity.
You just answered your own question.
Oh, in the process, can I just read out? I have a comprehensive list of words and phrases from the book that caused me a personal drought.
Yeah, we're gonna read those at the end of the episode.
Good. I'm gonna enunciate and get like up on the mic.
Good.
In ASMR pose.
I will edit that out and make it a highlight reel on YouTube.
Please do.
Excellent, please.
Called ASMR.
Okay, this question right here is I'm pretty much joking, but go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, so you said they're cousins. Just saying. But like, okay, but no, like you made me think about it.
Okay, good.
At what point?
This is an important question.
Like,
at what point can you bone a cousin? And it's not weird.
Well, it depends.
I mean, in Victorian England, it's pretty.
It's normal.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's like I don't know. Do you have the same mom? Even then, 50-50. Like,
right? Like they diverge at like great grandfather.
Yeah,
like they diverge way down, right? So like if they're cousins, but I don't feel like they're like.
I mean, they're obviously not. It's not like they're gonna produce mutant children or something. But like, it's a good question. How far down the cousin line was socially acceptable? Probably a lot more.
I mean, they weren't raised. I think it might be. They didn't know each other, right? Like they weren't raised together.
It sounds like they had a little. Like he barely knew her, but they knew the brothers, right? Like she came along later a little bit.
So he is the Duke's fifth cousin, twice removed.
Yeah, I mean that's basically
so what
like
does twice removed mean? What, like 8th or 7th?
No, it's oh god, I knew this once. I used to know
I'm
this.
super
it's
bad
like,
at the removed crap with cousins.
I think it has to do generationally, vertically generationally, if I recall.
Okay.
But I don't exactly remember. Anyway, they're really not that related. I'm just saying.
No,
no, I know. But then I think of what country has the app where you can check if you're related to somebody?
Iceland.
That's amazing. Well, it's a very small place. That makes sense.
Yes.
So we're not at that level, but also like it's Regency, and let's not think about
that's how we got hemophilia, right?
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about the ending when Margaret is basically like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna carry on the line, and y'all can like go suffer."
It was Iceland, by the way. That's all I have to add because I have nothing to add.
Good research. I liked it.
I clapped a little.
I was sad she didn't do it earlier. I was like, come on.
Too. I was like, you should have done this sooner.
Him and her brother beat up the guy. Like, that's it. We're done. Like, I'm in. This guy's great. They temporarily forged an alliance so that they could beat up the jerk dude. And at that point, I would marry him 10 times.
We have my family. Very good priorities, Amelia.
Look, her family is a shit show. So
right, they're terrible humans.
They are.
And Ash said he would take care of them nicely,
and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't even be like, please.
That was a little manipulative, manipulative. Let's be real, but still, at
valid for them because they were shit sticks.
Well, that was his point of view.
Look,
she started to see them as shit sticks
Duke was
too, and they were like, "We took you out of the
all
thing."
All the Duke had to do was be like, "Don't cut my kids off, please." And he was
we can talk about him having dementia, but what made him turn him down when he came begging as a little kid for his sister's love?
No, that's because
that guy was just
an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's.
But he was an asshole to other people.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
But yeah, oh, that was like the best turn. I was like, thank God this happens. I had a moment. I was like, what if that doesn't happen at the end?
Yeah, you knew it was gonna happen.
It has to happen at the end.
The romance novel, you know it's happening.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I just didn't know if she was gonna find another way, and I was gonna be real mad about it because I just did not want Richard and Edmund to get anything.
Well, and how not thinking is Richard? He just tells her, "Oh, here's what happened. Ash totally spoke up for you like an idiot," and she's like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like, he was so certain of her loyalty that he just spilled it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought for sure he wouldn't tell her and she'd find out some other gossipy way, because I knew Ash wouldn't tell her. But no, he just walked right in and told her. Like, what a butt.
It's amazing.
What a selfish butt.
He's just like white privilege, male privilege.
So
right?
much so like that.
He can't even see why anybody else would have a problem with it.
Right? Like, I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Except he did. He was like, I'm so ashamed that I did that. But I would totally do it again.
Yeah, like, no, you're not.
But I, like, still did it.
And I would do it again.
Yeah.
Because she asks him, would you do it again? And he says, yes.
Yeah. And I believe it. I believe it.
Point.
Which is why I don't want to read a romance novel with him as the hero. I don't want to.
No.
It doesn't
Although
exist
you never
so
know.
far.
Good writers can make it happen.
It's true. Look, she wrote about cheese in the Hamilton novella, so I believe she did that.
I just started that, and there is a cheese element.
Element in the book.
Yeah, that's my next tonight. I'm going to finish that one.
Nice.
I didn't want to read them at the same time because I was worried.
That's
Very
fair.
worried. They could, like, mix me up.
I wish I had read this one first, to be honest.
Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, I should leave this one because the Hamilton stuff's newer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you go back, it's not as good.
That was great. Yeah.
So the enhanced content apparently was amazing, and I'm really mad at myself for not better utilizing it.
It was really great. I stopped reading this on my Kindle so that I could use the enhanced content.
This is the
Was
first
there
book I ever
videos?
bought with it.
I think there was a video, there was some audio, and then just some links to later on in the
So,
book.
like,
That's
pictures
so cool.
of
There were
example
pictures.
houses, and then
Yeah,
my
but she-
Kindle kind of had a seizure. So,
Yeah, so there were pictures of the manor she based it on.
Oh, that's so neat.
Like a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that I really enjoyed. I had never read a book with this kind of enhanced content before, but I
I've
liked
not
it
either.
more.
Yeah, that's really cool. I stopped at the excerpt. I guess I didn't keep going to the enhanced content. But
It's
how
super
neat. I'll
enhanced.
check that out
Enhanced.
after this thing.
Enhanced.
That's really cool. I know, right? Enhance. Now it's fuzzy.
It's amazing. I'm like, now I want all the books to have enhanced content.
Yeah,
so
same. Cat Sebastian,
behind the
please
scenes
put
stuff like that
enhanced in your stuff.
sorry. I think behind the scenes kind of like thought process and research and stuff. I think those are cool, like back end notes for most books.
mhm. I love it whenever a book does it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do ratings. Ness, you'll give your pick, and then Eris, you're gonna read your words.
There we go. Okay.
Ness, what did you rate it?
I gave it a 3 on Goodreads, but if I could have given it a 3.5, I would have. I just wanted it to be funnier based on the more recent Courtney Milan stuff that I had read, which is not really fair, but there it is.
Amelia?
I also agree, 3.5.
I'm right in the same spot. Like, it was good. I would not recommend it to people.
It's really cute. It's like you said, it's a popcorn book.
To like
It's Iron Man.
read the
Yeah,
next one.
yes,
You know?
it's totally Iron Man. Like, it did not change my life, but it was absolutely worth my time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a really good description. It's a really good description of Iron Man. Okay.
I'm going to put that in my quote on my review. It was like Iron Man. It didn't change my life,
You're welcome.
but it was good.
Yeah.
Liz, what's your
Like
1 star?
no, honestly, like I'm gonna kind of beg out on this one.
Boo.
No, because it's one of those things where like I had a miserable time with this book, and I kind of knew I was going to.
I had a miserable time with Horror Store, and I knew I was going to, and I still reviewed that. Give that a
Yeah,
rating.
but here's the thing: I don't think that my review really counts because I fundamentally missed the point.
I mean, same.
Is the
so.
thing.
Like, we're in the same
I would
spot.
give it 1 star, but at the same time, I know that people who actually read this stuff like would not see it that way.
Like, see,
people
that's
who
a valid perspective.
I think you
It's
just got
not
to see it as a
romance,
subjective rating, not an objective
Yeah.
rating.
Okay,
which they always are. There's no such thing.
So my subjective rating is okay. So this is like if somebody said, here, I have this raw salted cod for you to eat. It is artisanal and delicious. And I say, no, I do not like any of those things. And they're like, no, you eat it anyway. And then I eat it, and I don't like it, and big fucking surprise, I didn't like it. That does not mean that the person's delightful dish of raw salted cod is bad.
I mean, that's what any of our ratings mean, though.
I don't know. So, like, yeah, non-romance rating completely did not get it. I give it a 1. Like I said, lock me up. I didn't.
No, it's okay. You are 100% allowed to not like the book. Like, that is the point of book
club,
Our
negative reviews are not an attack on the person who picked the book.
Yeah. No. Like, I'm not taking... I knew going in, like, there was, like, a 0.000 repeating, like, 1% chance you might like this book.
Yeah. But no, I say, like, if anybody else is looking at this in terms of reviews, like, I'm probably not going to put the stars on Goodreads, because I don't see why my, like, fundamentally not understanding should drag it down.
Thoughtful of you. That's awful of you. For the
yeah,
author.
That's where I'm going with it. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's not that you're...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if I really don't like a book, I just don't leave a review.
Yeah, if I really hate it, I probably will just not. Unless it's, like, offensive in some way that I think people need to know.
Because I will say, Ness, your criticisms of meddling kids, those were all real. Like, realistic interpretations of kind of what the book is and what its structural flaws were. Like, you were at least on the train and saying, I hate where this train is going.
But I hated the train, too.
Yeah, I hate this actual train. It's terrible.
I don't like horror books, and usually comedy books give me secondhand embarrassment so bad that I can't read them. So, like, that book was never going to be good for me.
Yeah, but you were able to at least identify, like, structural issues with the actual story. I don't really have that here.
It's high grad school.
Like, I don't really have that on this one. Alpha creeped me the shit out.
I think that's valid.
Like, it's valid. Like, that criticism is equally valid to being, like, this book is not structurally sound. Mm-hmm. This is not a book, then, that I would recommend to people who don't like romance.
Yeah, okay.
No.
That is fair.
No.
My subjective experience
absolutely not. This is not like a...
Okay, then.
Recommend to my friends who don't read romance.
Right, and there are definitely some I would be like, you don't like romance, but this book is so great, you should...
Yeah, that's true. Well, this wouldn't be one of them. This wouldn't be one of them, but there are ones that I would be like, it doesn't matter, read it anyway. But
like all my romance reading friends, I'd be like, oh, you should read that. It was great.
The Siren. Okay, good talk. Can I say one more thing?
I'm not putting a good thing on it because that's not fair.
Can we rate the banging? Since we are the Pancake Sex Book Club, what did we think of the banging?
Did you guys read a book with banging again?
We did. It's so exciting. I just feel like we should mention I enjoyed the banging.
I thought it was starred.
Good banging. It was really good bang. Yeah, exactly. Pretty good banging.
Yeah,
I'm very pleased. This was no pancake sex.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, the banging. I'm not here for the banging.
Really?
I would give the banging a 2.
I mean, I think it was a real slow build to the banging, but I was happy with it.
I was happy with it too.
As a Vetromancer, I understand the slow burn.
I don't even know if I'd call this a slow burn. I would say this is my experience was that like it's kind of a firecracker that like there was some sizzle and then it didn't go off and you were like, oh shit, is it gonna explode?
I don't want to put my hand back in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
That is it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. Oh.
It was kind of surprisingly short.
Yeah.
It was. I also say,
but I'm comparing it to pancake sex and feeling like this is like excellent.
I don't have that comparison point. And like I said, some of the language was just like, no, never call it that again.
I did read 2 like YA books before this, so that totally made the banging better too.
It's true. If you have not had banging in your
Look, I read a YA book right before this that had a little bit of banging, and that banging was better than this banging.
Tragic day. You'll have to give us that recommendation after we
it's happened. You're gonna get it in about 5 seconds.
Oh, but okay, like this YA book is super not in the same categories like the 2 YA books I just read. Anyways,
I didn't hate it. That's all I'm saying. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I didn't hate it either, but Courtney Milan has and can do better.
Oh, totally. I'm sure. Ness, what are we reading in November? What am I so excited
What are
about?
people doing? I'm worried about you two right
Yeah,
now.
I have no idea.
You have a problem. We are going to read the incredibly delightful The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee.
Oh, we are. You've
okay.
read that like 6 times. Okay.
I know, and I'm ready to read it again. I'm ready to read it for the third
Probably
time this year.
Goodreads feed. I was like,
No.
well, that's an old one, right?
For one of my
All
classes.
right.
So
I should have
wanna-
known this was coming.
I want to put trigger warnings on this for people, okay? Because there are definitely some intense shit here. Child abuse, fairly graphically described, as well as PTSD resulting from said child abuse, alcoholism, suicidal ideation, ableism, and racism.
Sounds like a fun read.
Oh, one of the characters is named Percy. That's nice.
Okay, I love this question on the Goodreads. Is Percy a boy or a girl? It sounds like a girl or a boy's name.
Oh,
Someone,
no,
neither.
He's
He's a gentleman.
No, he is not a gentleman, actually. Monty is a gentleman.
I know,
Oh,
and I was
God.
like, wait, I don't think you're right.
Perhaps
No.
gentleman can be a state of mind.
I mean, he is noble.
And
but
then
not
someone else
nobility.
said he's a rake.
No,
People
what?
are
Percy
fun.
is not a rake. Did anybody read this book?
This is like 4 months ago, so
Not read this.
they have maybe not read it yet.
That's amazing.
All
Sorry,
right.
I just love
You know what
it.
I think? I feel like you've been
Oh.
trying to get us to read this book, and now we're just gonna have to.
Audio is amazing. So,
I think you're gonna enjoy it, Amelia.
so
Oh, I'm
Mackenzie
sure.
Lee- No, listen.
500 fucking
Listen,
pages?
stop talking. Mackenzie Lee came in, or not came, but she Skyped into my class. And Hot Tom Riddle from the Harry Potter movies for the audiobook.
Amazing.
Also, she talks to book clubs.
That is me.
Well, maybe we gotta have her on somewhere else.
Exactly.
That's amazing. She Skyped in. I want to read her other book too, the Frankenstein one.
It's a delight.
Wait, there's a Frankenstein one? We're not reading that?
No, we're doing this.
It's very good as well.
It's 500 fucking pages?
You'll be fine.
Yay.
Wow.
You can read it
It's
in a
5A
day.
pages. It's big type. You'll be
Okay.
fine.
Alright.
It's YA 500. YA 500 is not like Game of Thrones.
I read it in a day. You can do this. It's fine.
Recurring theme in my notes from this one was, how are there X many pages left?
This one
Please make
cheated
it
you though
stop.
because it had all of those like enhanced edition pages at the end. So it was like, you're
Yeah, it's
80% done.
tricky.
Oh no, I'm done. Okay.
Yep.
No,
All
actually,
right.
my Kindle had just like the story pages, and everything after was just like this weird limbo zone. I think my Kindle can
Oh,
handle it.
weird. Fair.
All right. So to close this episode of Pancake Sex Book Club,
Alright,
Eris is going to give us a ASMR reading of phrases that really bothered her and
Yeah.
she can't handle.
so the following
Quiet
were
in the peanut gallery.
words brought up during the deeply unsexy sex scenes, in my opinion. It was my personal Sahara Desert. Now you have to listen to them too. Damp curls. Member. There. In italics, because it's a euphemism. Folds. Juices. Nub. And magnificent creature used to describe something that isn't a unicorn.
Amazing. Amazing.
Guys, to revisit the Bearf book so she can see how bad it really gets.
Oh my god. Or just read the scene with the pancake sex. Like, you don't
Oh,
have to read the whole
Oh my
book.
god.
Like this was so not bad.
This was so
I could not do any of those things.
Where is the Tumblr with the terrible euphemisms for
Oh god, no, that is a comedy gold mine.
Oh, good time.
I just love, like, I mean, I'm sorry I broke you, but I love that I did.
Good
No,
time.
Feels so
everything is an
good.
experience. Everything is an experience. I've been surprised by the books that I've read in here, like surprised that I like them. I've also been the odd one out. It's fine. Now I have 6 pages of fucking madness in my book journal, and I'm fine with that.
Love it.
Worth
I
it.
love it.
Oh.
Love it. Love it.
So that's book club.
All right.
I hope you liked our ASMR segment.
Did I enunciate?
Let us
everything
know in
clearly?
the comments.
Girls is my favorite. saying.
I'm stopping this now.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.